I wonder if
it's tough to see, so we'll see if he pops out on the other side, on our side of this house here.
Oh, there he is. There he goes. There he goes. He is jumping. Is he trying to break into someone's house, or is this his own? Banging on the door.
Yeah, this does not look like his own house. He is trying to get inside.
Oh my
Imagine,
gosh.
yeah, Sunday night, close to 11 o'clock, and you're inside, and he has now gotten inside.
So he is either broken in, or this is this guy's house, which kind of makes sense because of how well he knew these streets. But I wonder if he was just trying to break into someone's house as well, which is also scary. So we understand the suspect is somewhere in this house, originally wanted for assault on an officer out of Burbank.
This is on Christine Drive, so we're just a block or two off of Whittier Boulevard, just in Whittier, just a couple feet off a very busy thoroughfare here. And this looks like an apartment complex, maybe some condos.
Mm-hmm.
And so the police are there.
There
College
they are.
Ave, probably, I think, coming up from the other direction. So College Ave, they're coming from the north, and I'm sure there's an airship overhead that knows where he is, including ours. Sometimes we hear that they're watching these pursuits on our air as they follow along back at the station, and can alert officers in pursuit. So here we go. On Sargent Avenue, you have two patrol cars pulling up.
We're
surely going to see a couple more on the Christine Drive side of this and have this building fully surrounded.
Yep, and then obviously they're either going to try and go in or just have the place surrounded just in case this guy tries to run out, get away. But you have to also imagine that this is a little bit more elevated for them because this is a suspect who's wanted for assault on an officer. So, how they conduct themselves and how they go in and try and handle this guy is probably going to be quite different than another suspect. If he's willing to assault an officer previously, they're probably under the assumption he can try and do it again.
Right. So now it's a matter of containment. This guy has already been seen on camera. There's very little doubt at this point that he can get away. Officers are likely going to go to the adjacent building, see if they can get these people out of here, out of harm's way, at the risk of something else happening. You can see officers arriving, guns drawn, because they don't know what they're encountering. There's a young woman, it looks like they have her arms raised. This looks like just a person who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Must be terrifying for her. Having her get down on the ground, likely, unless she came out of that vehicle that we did not see, likely having nothing to do with this, we don't know. There is a chance that I think that the truck itself was obscured by some foliage of a tree or a building when it came to a stop. So she could have come out of this vehicle, or she could just be somebody simply walking down the road who happened to be there at this time.
But it looks like they are patting her down, and I believe it looks like they're getting ready to cuff her. Yeah, it looks like they are. So she may somehow be involved in this. But is she the suspect, the driver, or was she a passenger in that car? We still don't know at this point. But we do, it looks like, have at least one person in custody.
Yeah, and oftentimes you might just want to handcuff her.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, and now they've got a guy.
Just to make sure she doesn't get away, to know. Did you see movement from inside the house?
No, I didn't see movement from inside the house, but you can see an officer there. He was kind of pointing toward the door, like it looks like he was saying, it's this one here. So I wonder if they're going to be moving in to the unit where we saw the suspect enter that door just a couple minutes ago.
It is where the light is on, in the middle of our screen, just off center to the right where that light is on. That is the door that this driver got into, or we assume is the driver, this assault suspect who just led police on a pursuit. That door there right in the middle of your screen. So somewhere inside of this complex, and that's either a reflection of an officer we see in the window or someone inside that window. There is movement. We have, it must have been the reflection of that officer right now looking through windows.
Right.
It is not that unit that he's looking into right now.
Okay, so there's an officer right there.
At the door.
Guns drawn. Does he know it is this particular apartment, I wonder, because he doesn't appear to be going toward it, simply just walked up the stairs, and it looks like they're kind of looking around. So kind of begs the question, do they know that that suspect went in through that door? But the night sun was shining on it, and they were tracking him.
Yeah, somebody knows, somebody from Highway Patrol or law enforcement has been watching this, knows the door. It's just a matter of whether it has been communicated to every officer on the ground. Exactly which door it is, they will find that out. But again, right now it's a matter of containment, making sure that there's no way to escape, knowing you have this building surrounded, and knowing that anyone who might be in the area is not put at risk or at harm in the event of a long standoff. Or who knows what could happen right here. They don't know if this person is armed, if they're ready to take this further and escalate things. And so I don't know if they're concentrating on this window.
They look like it looks like they are.
It really does look like they think something might be inside of there. So just to let everybody know, we are streaming now. In about a minute, we might have to take care of a little bit of business on the TV side and have to go through some of our headlines for our 11 o'clock show. You will be able to listen in on that as we do that, and I believe it includes this story. Before and after that, we'll continue on this pursuit. It is, again, the second pursuit we have seen this evening. The first mainly hovered around this area, Whittier and points a little bit to the west.
It seems like a lot of these chases end up in this area. And again, we don't know if the suspects just coincidentally both happen to live in this area, but we typically see whoever these suspects are kind of end up to places that they know. So this one ending here at this apartment, and looks like they're still searching for that second person. We did see one person get detained in cuffs, so they are still searching for that second person. Whether they jumped into that apartment and then took off from a different exit, we don't know, but we're going to keep tracking this, and we're going to do our headlines. Just really quick, stay with us here on digital.
Yeah, so we are 10 seconds out. You'll be able to listen into this, see a little behind the scenes as we put the news together, and we'll be right back to this pursuit. Tonight at 11, the high-speed pursuit, buzzing pedestrians and clipping cars, the bizarre ending.
Plus, the Southern California military base about to become a coronavirus quarantine center.
And hours before Kobe and Gianna's celebration of life from downtown at 11.
Welcome back. So we just had to take a quick break, but we are back to this pursuit now, where we understand the officers, they've surrounded this apartment complex here in Whittier off of Christine Drive and College Avenue. They have one person in custody. Unclear what their connection is to the driver or this incident itself, but we saw somebody either break in or go into an apartment right off of Christine Drive here at the end of a very dangerous pursuit, and they are still surrounding this area
and
now.
What you're looking at right now, I believe we just saw that young woman sit down in the police car. So we saw a young woman in the alley. It looked like she was just in a skirt, just in a jacket, not dressed appropriately for maybe cooler temperatures here tonight. With her arms up, police asked her to get down on her knees, and they wound up handcuffing her and taking her into custody. We don't know at this point whether she was in the truck with this person who ran inside the building, or whether she just happened to be walking through the alleyway and police were taking no chances. The fact that she's in the police car now leads me to believe she may have been a passenger or the driver of this truck. But until we hear from them and or she is released.
us to keep track, and it was hard for the CHP and Burbank police initially to follow this person after we understand they committed an assault on an officer. We don't know exactly what the circumstances were around that alleged crime, but it led us to here in Whittier. And yeah, very, very fast pursuit, and another dangerous one here on our Southern California roads. So we're going to continue to follow this, and we'll continue to track to see how this suspect and where this suspect ends up.
Right. Pursuit is over. It's now turned into a basically a standoff situation.
Exactly.
And just kind of awaiting his next move. Police, CHP. I don't know if Burbank was still in pursuit here. Anyone from the Whittier jurisdiction is here. I can't.
Looks like CHP right there.
That's a CHP cruiser on the right. Is that one on the left as well?
I think
I believe.
So.
Yeah, we can see that star logo. So a couple CHP cruisers, and awaiting to see what their plan is, and awaiting to see what this guy is going to do inside this home. But we continue to watch this playing out in Whittier. Are we gonna stick with this, guys, until 11 o'clock? Okay, so we're going to stay on the air here and see how this thing plays out.
Yeah, so as Jory was saying, one person in custody and another person still at large here off of Christine Drive and College Avenue after a very long pursuit from Burbank. And it looks like the officers are kind of just hanging around the area to make sure that in case this person tries to leave the perimeter, they're going to have people on all sides. And it seems just based on our vantage point, they've got a couple of officers down there. Looks like they've got their flashlights out and they're really focusing on on this one unit here.
Yeah,
looks like 3 or 4 officers down there.
I'm so curious as to what is leading them, whether they're still looking inside there or whether the building they're up against is the building we saw this guy go into.
Right, exactly. And it looks like the door is open to this apartment that they keep looking at. I know they poked in their head, and it doesn't look like they found anything. But yeah, it's kind of hoping that they go into that other door there that we saw the suspect enter into.
Okay, so the right side of your screen, that kind of top center to right center, that is College Avenue. Branching off of that is Sargent Ave and, and Christine Drive. So these housing complexes are in between these two roads, Sargent Avenue and Christine Drive. Again, this is just about a block or two off of Whittier Boulevard, just north of Whittier Boulevard in the town of Whittier. And they got here in a hurry. We made it to the studio just a short time after we heard this was happening and kept seeing reports of 90 miles an hour. And when we picked it up, they had already reached, far off the 605 and made it a really fast, long way, really fast.
I know our helicopter travels at very fast speeds, and it was having a hard time catching up with them at how quickly they were traveling. And then once they got off the highway, the driver was just tearing through city streets. Luckily, in this area, there was not a lot of traffic and not a lot of pedestrians around, but that's always super dangerous. So
looks like the night sun is now centered in on the housing unit in question. Can we zoom in? Can we see any movement in any of these windows as we're doing this? I thought I saw some earlier, but it turned out to be at the bottom of your screen. We can see an officer looking into windows here. Once the night sun comes back around, there is an officer right up against the front of this building. There's one standing in the alleyway and one standing off to the right. So we have 2 here at this end of the walkway. We had 2 on the far end. On the far end. There you go. You see his flashlight is now on. So it seems like they now know where this guy is, the door he went into. We don't know whether these are multi-level units, so whether you have to concentrate your attention just on the ground floor where this guy got in, or whether he was able to go upstairs inside the unit. So that has someone who has eyes from above you. That's not a vantage point that these officers really want to put themselves in, having someone be able to look down on them like that uninhibited. Or whether this guy has maybe access to get possibly to the roof from inside the house, and from there, he's not making it from roof to roof. I can tell you that. If he
would see.
Well, not only would we see it, but we'd also see him fall to the ground, because that gap is way too far for someone to make that jump. Yeah, exactly. And I think the way that these officers are kind of handling this situation right now looks like they're really taking their time because of the
you know, the extent of this crime that happened before this chase here, which was assault on an officer. So these officers are obviously being very careful as to how they're going to approach the suspect, and you know, they don't want to create any unnecessary confrontation that might elevate into something dangerous, something deadly. You know, this is a heavily populated area. This is an apartment complex, and there's a lot going on here. So there are so many factors that these officers have to think about before they can just barge into a door. So it's possible that they know where this guy is. They're just taking their time to make sure that they do this safely.
As we continue to watch this, we do have to let you know again, in about 30 seconds, we're going to have to break away again for a little bit of business we have to take care of on the TV side. If you're watching us streaming on our ABC7 Los Angeles app, or watching us on Facebook, or perhaps our website, abc7.com, just stick around. We will continue to stream here, but we do have to take care of another one of these headlines that we're doing as we get ready for our 11 o'clock broadcast on ABC7. And so if you're streaming and you want to pop on the TV, we will be there as well. And that's coming up in just about 15 seconds. So we'll continue to keep our eye on this, and we will be back for a short time after this little headline here Veronica's going to do, and then we will re-pick up our broadcast. So stand by here.
Breaking 60 seconds away, another dangerous pursuit. This one ends up in a standoff in Whittier. It's not today's first wild chase on SoCal streets. Eyewitness News starts in 60 seconds. All
right. Casting on the web. You can keep talking about it. It's fine. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. So we continue to watch this standoff now, the end of a pursuit in Whittier. We're about to get going, 30 seconds away from the start of our 11 o'clock broadcast on ABC7 on TV. If you're not around a television, continue watching us on streaming. If you are at home and happen to be in front of a TV, pop it on, and we are about to get going. Or if you want to, for some reason, have a little stereo vision, you can watch us at the same time on your streaming, on your phone, on your tablet, and on television. Okay, so we will be right back.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
We begin with breaking news at 11. A wild police pursuit coming to an end in Whittier. I'm Veronica Miracle.
And I'm Jory Rand. This is a wild scene that began in Burbank, made its way up to Sun Valley before tearing its way down the 5 freeway, hitting several other freeways and side streets, winding up here at this apartment complex in Whittier. The suspect got out of a pickup truck and made his way into that doorway we see in the middle of your screen right now. That's where CHP officers and other police officers have surrounded this building and are trying to basically come up with a plan of what to do, how to get this guy out safely without any injuries happening.
That's right. We have one person that we know of in custody. We saw a woman being taken into a police car, but here is the chase here that we saw just moments ago that started in Burbank. We understand this suspect was wanted for assault on an officer. We've heard that possibly he may have tried to run over an officer with his car. That's some unconfirmed reports, but this person led officers on a very dangerous pursuit, blowing through stoplights, blowing through street signs, and going up into this very windy area here, and then ending up at an apartment complex, ditching the car and running into this apartment complex that you see there on the live portion of your screen.
And we did see one person taken into custody. It looked like a young woman in an alleyway was put into handcuffs. Officers found her. They had her hands up in the air, made her get down on the ground and handcuffed her, put her in one of these patrol cars. Again, we don't yet know whether this was someone who was in the truck. Our view of the truck was blocked at the time it came to an end. So we don't know how many people were in that truck when they bailed, whether this person just happened to be a bystander who was walking down this alleyway, but police not taking any chances, now putting her into custody. Now, this, of course, not the only pursuit we've seen on this day.
That's right. This is the second.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Did he just clip that car? He just clipped that car.
Yeah, it was a wild and dangerous chase through the San Gabriel Valley in East LA. Sheriff's deputies say the driver even pointed a gun at them.
Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell is live in Commerce, where everything finally came to an end from that pursuit. Amy.
And Jory and Veronica, as you know, this was another very dangerous pursuit that went on for about an hour and a half. And many of you watched it live right here on ABC 7.
Somewhere in a crowd.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Copy that. 15 seconds. Live picture. 15 seconds. You're welcome.